If you're looking to trade Mara stock, I got something real interesting for you. I'm gonna give you guys some information, some structure levels to be on the lookout for, some potential weakness. I'm gonna give you guys all of the tools, all of the juice to get this Mara trade going up here in the near future. Because we're still in the weekend. We gotta wait for that trading week to start, right? But guys, let me show you guys the chart right now for Mara. So we know we know that Mara has very well tested previous low and broke below the retracement, nearing the new red deep value supportive area. This area represents Bitcoin potentially reaching low 70s to high 60s. That's where this area really tries to represent. But now we're in this moment, and this is what's very exciting too, because as Bitcoin continues to do its thing, and we're gonna go over Bitcoin just to get a better understanding of Mara. We already know that Mara posted an incredible earnings report, good earnings call in my opinion as well. We know that they're killing it. If you guys were paying attention to maybe the earnings call, you know that the CEO said that he is looking at potential risk for electricity when it comes to the next halving. So he's thinking into the future. This is incredible. And you have, of course, just more regulations in the US that's going to make it a lot easier for these crypto related companies to operate. So that's very interesting. And as long as Bitcoin supply and demand keeps, being outweighed by demand, and at the same time, tariff fears begin to fade away. This is going to set things up super interesting. But let's go ahead and take a look at the structure. So first of all, we started a new bearish structure from here. This is the point when our sideways consolidation pattern begin to break due to tariff fears primarily. And then we tested deep value twice. We are right now in the second wave of the overall third wave that could potentially bring us up much higher. But I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. If it fails, I'm going to show you guys how that can influence Mara so you can really understand this a little bit better. So right now, just so I can draw it out, this is the ideal play right now until we are proven wrong. We have first wave in, second wave is done. Third wave is still unfolding. This third wave is playing out as a bigger structure, sort of ABC pattern. So we have that A wave in, the B wave would come all the way up into the low 90s, and then finish off that third wave, bringing us down back below 80K, but a deeper low than here, because this low is too shallow compared to this low to consider this to be a third wave bottom. So that's the possibility. The other possibility is we see a short-lived wave, so maybe like a WXY pattern, very short-lived, more on the bearish side, and that can look something more like this. I'm going to show you guys just so we can get this out the way, and then we can actually see how this affects Mara, where it can look more like this. So this third wave, so here's the third wave, it will look more like this, so WXY, and then we go ahead and get that bottom in. So both lead towards bottoms, although the benefit of this is that we get a very clear overall bigger picture structure that will create such a strong foundation to trade off of. It will be very difficult for outside news influence to really take a hold of Bitcoin as much as it has during this big dip right here. So the stronger the foundation due to the better the setup of the structure, the better we can really, look at. And I do believe until we break up higher and we start looking at new support areas forming, I I still believe that we can potentially see lower prices, especially as tariffs still continue to evolve and cause potential fear. And right now we are at this supportive area right here in yellow, the first support area, and then there's the backup support area in orange. So basically it's the price coming down, finding supports, holding this area very well. But the longer it holds this area, the less confident I am with how much bullish momentum is really here. But we are still looking for a potential third wave. If we break below this orange structure, we break below, then this will be invalidated, and instead we're looking at the WXY wave count instead of the ABC wave count. they both lead towards the same direction. It's just one of them is just a little bit more bullish in the short term than the other, but eventually they all lead to a bottom that can just rally up like crazy. But if, depending on the way this fourth and fifth wave play out, we might actually get confirmation that the low is in and we are looking for a bigger setup. And this is actually the overall first wave of a even bigger picture, 5 wave count that can bring us well into like the 130,000s. But either way, what we're looking at right now is how this affects Mara, right? Where we're holding support. If we break lower or we come up, this is a strong resistance area to keep an eye on. If we come up here, this is going to be a very good shorting opportunity, and how that can affect Mara if we do go up high. If we go down further into that, if we just start dipping and break that support, then easily red area, strong accumulation to begin accumulating longs for, finally the recovery. The other thing, if we do go up higher on Bitcoin, what that can look like is quite simple. This structure right here, this yellow structure is the overall retracement area from this whole move down. Keep in mind, we do have fairly obvious, if I can find the right, yeah, right here. We do have it's fairly obvious imbalance in this area right here. So we want to keep an eye on that as a potential strong resistance the furthest way up. With this, the reason this is very interesting is because it overlaps slightly with this green area that we retested briefly. So we can see another test of these value areas in green very briefly before being rejected once again, and continue to see, some new waves forming below this larger picture support line that I have here going upward. So if we do go up higher and we finally go into like the high 80s, low 90s, we want to see if the price is trading within this area. We want to see if it's trading within the yellow. If it's getting near the top, I don't really think it's gonna break above 1580. I don't think it can break above 1580 that easily. This is a very strong resistance if we max out to this area. But easily we want to see if the price is holding not just above the 120 moving average, but over here in this yellow as well, with RSI showing, not too much oversold nature. So then we can let Bitcoin drop this price back down, so we can see that correction form, and then super easy shorting opportunity on both of these assets before, the recovery upward. And what that can look like on Mara is up, the shorting opportunity, and then the recovery upward, continuing the wave count, which can easily at that point bring us up over this support line, ascending support line, very, very easily. But just to sum everything up, because I've been recording for like 8 minutes now, basically what I'm trying to say is that with Mara right now, is this a buy right now or not? Well, it depends. Because if we keep in mind the supportive nature of this right now, where we see the price came down from finding resistance right here pretty much perfectly, found resistance, was able to break below the yellow retracement even a few times, and now it's trying to hold within it. In my opinion, the RSI is resetting after the price went up a lot. And yeah, it came down, it's consolidated, but the price went up aggressively. It's still in these discounted natures, and we still have macroeconomic fear, right? At the same time, we are seeing low volume peaks within these small structures. Low volume peaks. This is very not strong. So honestly, I think it's a better idea to wait to buy Mara a bit longer. We want to see if Bitcoin can actually hold this area and start recovering from it, showing more bullish trends. But until that happens, if this RSI continues to flatten, continues to do its little reset right now, and the price still shows those long volume those short volume, like small volume peaks, not really strong momentum, then that can eventually transform into bearish momentum as confidence begins to separate itself from the asset, at least short-term confidence though, right? So right now, I do believe until we get confirmation of this price actually holding sustainably above the 120 moving average and showing a little bit more nicer volume to trade off of, then I just believe we can potentially see it come down and test this orange area a bit more before we can potentially go higher. So I'm looking for potential lower prices unless we get confirmation of volume up here. And what that can look like is Mara beginning to sharpen this line right here. We see support there. We see somewhat of a resistance. It's a little messier now, but like this, and then eventually it will sharpen so much it will hit resistance, keep sharpening as Bitcoin continues to consolidate a little too much, and then eventually it will want to break down to the downside. Eventually, when Bitcoin sees that confidence separate itself due to a lack of volume, then that's when we can easily see, this red area being tested, rejected, come down. We want to see volume prove bullishness on Bitcoin. So that's basically my opinion, guys. Just be patient with Mara right now. Be patient with Bitcoin. We gotta, we're still looking for some confirmation, but get ready, because if we do see any dips, which as of this moment I do think are more possible, it will be a great idea to begin accumulating once we start getting confirmation of deep value being retested once again. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.